Peace, everybody. Welcome to the Three the Odd Way podcast. My name is Substantial, and I'm here with my brothers. We got Sherm the Barber, and of course, my brother Jay Cash. Definitely great to see y'all. How's it going, team?
Hey, I just want to say I'm proud of you for getting it right this time.
Right. He wasn't always
over the weekend.
He wasn't.
Yeah, look, when I was doing my countdown in the beginning before I hit start on the video, in my mind, I was just like saying it over. I was like, three the odd way, you got this, brother. It's not three the odd way, it's three the odd way. You got this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, episode 4. If I ain't have it by now, I need to stop doing the intro. So you know what I'm saying? It's like Cash, you keep shitting on me. You need to do the intro. You know what I'm saying?
You waiting for that joint.
Look, man, well, you know what I'm saying? We switch up. That's what we do. We switch up next week for the live joint. You know what I'm saying? Put you on the spot.
Right.
We live next week. That's right.
Yeah, we are live next week. So shout out to everybody who's been watching the new series and stuff, man. It's been going really well. I think last week was actually our most popular episode. So that was really dope to see it actually streamed higher than the first episode. So
147 right now.
Yeah, I'm saying. So we'll go ahead. You know, these numbers may not be impressive to most, but like it's growth for us. You know what I'm saying? Growth mindset moving forward. Baby steps. That's what we doing out here. You know what I mean? Cheers to that. I got something. Throw open the screen too. Bow. Always been on black. Just go ahead. Yeah, life juice. That's what Isaiah would call it back in the day. Life juice, the best type. You know what I'm saying? What you sipping on today, Sherm?
So today, I got 2 joints. I already finished this one, but I got a Flying Dog and cream milk stout. Pretty good.
Never thought I'd see Oreos on a beer, but yeah, okay.
Pretty good. And then I got a Sun Lab Welcome to My Dark Side pastry stout, which is proving to be pretty tasty. I actually have a breakfast joint here today too.
It's time to call the people.
Right. Here we go.
Well, I got it for you, Stan.
Okay. Early rise. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, early to rise. Breakfast. Yeah, it's time.
Listen.
That is official.
That is great. So what do they call it if you start the day drinking? I know what we call it if you start the day smoking. That's wake and bake. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there should be a term for people who wake up and just have a drink. What is it?
Alcoholism.
Oh man. Right. Laugh to keep from crying. Oh my God. Crazy. Crazy.
Pretty good. The first one is said, the Sun Lab is said to be brewed with macadamia nuts, hazelnuts, maple syrup, vanilla, and lactose. I'm not too hot on the lactose, but
so you have gas afterwards. That's
right. Yeah, I'm gonna be sounding off in this mole bubble.
Off the bubbly giblets. Bad. Yo, so look,
giving us those sound effects.
Right. Yeah. Now for our next segment.
Right.
Right.
Man, who
right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know Sherm was picking up new skills. You know. But yo, before we get into the rest of the show, real quick, rest in peace shout out. This weekend we lost the great Larry King. Yeah, man. I know he was dealing with COVID. I heard about that. I want to say about a week or 2 ago or something like that. And so yeah, I remember first hearing that, knowing that he's up in age and stuff, man, like, you know, just kind of start mentally preparing myself for the worst. Like I think a lot of people did, but definitely rest in peace to Larry King. Just a very influential voice over the years, man, and definitely a trailblazer for so many people who work in broadcasting. So, you know what I mean? Rest in peace to him.
Pretty neutral voice too, which I really respect. He remained pretty neutral over the years.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you're a broadcast journalist, right, like your job first and foremost is just to report the news. You know what I mean? So a lot of what has kind of dominated nowadays is basically like the live version of op-eds, right? Like say again.
It's bias.
Yeah. Because the bias, the more biased news typically sells, it gets more traffic, right? It gets more burn. And so people would much rather sit and listen to, what they agree with as opposed to just kind of get general information. So
first rule in journalism is know your target
audience. It leads.
You know what I mean? So
if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so that's what they speak to.
Yeah, I remember. What was it? Not last year, the year before last, 2019 during Kwanzaa, when we met, when Fox 5 DC came up to Creative Suitland and they interviewed Shell and I to talk about the Kwanzaa event. One of the things that we talked about or whatever, after the camera went off, we were just like, hey, man, thank you for showing up. You know what I mean? We know this neighborhood typically end up on the news for a lot of other stuff. So it was dope that y'all actually, came out for this. And then what he said, well, he was like, he's like, yeah, man, we actively are looking for more stories like this. The truth of the matter is there's no kind of like how the radios or whatever for like cops and different things. He was like, those type of things, they're not there for good news, right? Like he's like, when people are listening and for reports and stuff like that, most of the time when stuff like that comes across the wire, 9 times out of 10 is something negative. So it was dope. It's always dope when you see folks making an active effort to basically report both sides, you know what I mean? To just kind of report what's happening as opposed to trying to make people shift people's thinking, you know what I mean? But on that note, gentlemen, you know what we didn't do before we started was decide who was setting it off, son. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we did not last week.
Oh yeah, that's right. So do you remember? Because I don't.
Me first.
Yeah, that's right.
No, let me see. Me, I took notes, bro. I'm
yeah.
Let me see.
You are a gentleman and a scholar, good sir. Thank you, because I am failing right now. You know what I mean? Am I last? I think I'm last.
Yes, you are. No, Sherm's
last.
You're right. So, okay, look. So you aren't the only forward thinker, good sir. I already had the banners in order. Look at that. High five for Jesus. I just forgot. I ain't realized. So, on that note, let me go ahead and shut up. Right. It's too late to play it off. I've already, we done it. That happened. You know what I'm saying? So, Cash, it's on you. Sherm, you got his theme music? Because he's bougie now. The music has changed now that James has a MacBook.
That's right. I need that upper level echelon. I need that. Come on.
Yes.
Nigga, wait. That shit was Shakespearean.
That's fire, man. That's fire. That's gonna be the background.
They don't pay you enough, Sherm. They don't pay you enough, son. You know what I'm saying?
I just gave a theatrical performance.
You did that shit. You know what I'm saying?
All right, James. I didn't mean to take away from your segment, bro.
It's too late. He stole all your thunder. You know what I'm saying?
My segment. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
We firing ice out here. You know what I'm saying?
Stuntastic. Stuntastic.
Right, so on the RIP level, we gotta give a shout out and toast it up to Hammerin' Hank Aaron, who passed away at the age of 86 on January 22nd, I believe, 2021. For those who were unfamiliar with Hank Aaron, he was one of the best baseball players of all time. One writer had him top 5, and as many baseball players as come along, that's a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely.
He played 23 seasons in Major League Baseball. After 3 months in the Negro Leagues with the Indianapolis Clowns, 21 seasons with Atlanta Braves, 2 with the Milwaukee Brewers. 25-time All-Star, World Series champion, NL MVP, 3-time Gold Glove Award winner, 2-time NL batting champion, 4-time NL home run leader, 4-time NL RBI leader, with Major League Baseball records that are still standing at 2,297 career RBIs.
Wow.
6,856 career total bases, 1,477 career extra base hits.
Keep going.
Yeah, inducted to the Hall. Bad man. Hank Aaron was a bad man. I got asked a long time ago from a coworker who's the greatest baseball player of all time, and this was my answer, Hank Aaron. Jackie Robinson was my second, Babe Ruth kind of in the third, and Willie Mays. But Hank Aaron, to me, was a whole lot greater than just what he did on the baseball diamond. He was a philanthropist as well as an activist against civil rights. For civil rights, not against it, for civil rights. So well beloved in Atlanta. I think he has I think the name I wrote it down. Chasing the Dream Foundation. He provides 44 grants each year for Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and that's just the iceberg.
That's dope.
Most famously known for breaking Babe Ruth's home run record of 755, a record that stood for 33 years. In the time that he came up, that was not appreciated from the masses. I'll let you guys determine why that was, but he got all types of death threats. He got a lot of harassment. And
Black for 300.
Yeah. As we all know, like, Babe is beloved. I'm a Yankee fan, so of course everyone loves Babe Ruth, and everybody.
And he was a Marylander, so of course, you know what I mean. Got to show love, you know what I mean. But
Hank Aaron?
No, Babe Ruth.
No. He said, talking about Babe Ruth was from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. The career home run record was at the time 754, and Hank hit 755. So, shout out to him. Shout out to his family. And his, like, he does so much work with Morehouse. I know he had a program where he would invite young colonists to his house to practice their culinary skills. Like, Hank Aaron is beloved, and he's sorely missed. So RIP to the legend, the great, a man that's worthy of following behind and following after. Hank Aaron, RIP to you. God rest your soul.
Absolutely.
Hard to transition from that. Also, on a personal level, I lost my high school varsity football coach the same day. So for those that are graduates of Falmouth Heights High School, we lost a great one, and Coach Payton to pass the same day as Hank Aaron. It's never special to have somebody pass, but it's memorable when that happens. So RP to Payton and all the people that he's affected and helped become great young men and young women, because he also did work with the golf team as well with Falmouth Heights. So moving on from that, back to my favorite diva, James Harden. Now, James Harden is being talked about today because of the response from Shaquille O'Neal. So I don't know, Stan, if you have that image you want to put up. Shaquille had said some things about James Harden. I mentioned it in brief discussion last week when we were talking about how he kind of made his way out of Houston and now is with the Brooklyn Nets. See my age showing up. I'm about to call them New Jersey Nets. Brooklyn Nets. To paraphrase, James Harden said that he gave Houston his all. Shaq responded with something like, when you say you gave him your all, no, you didn't. You wanted Dwight Howard, they gave it to you. You wanted Chris Paul, they gave it to you. You wanted your buddy Russell Westbrook, they gave it to you, and it didn't work. So when they say you giving your all, you really haven't given your all. So James Harden, of course, because of the society we live in now, he came back with the response to Shaquille O'Neal. I understand. Do you have it up?
I was trying to get it to come up on this end because I think you would. Yeah.
I'll read it. I'll read it along. He says, we do all this talking about uplifting the next African-American athlete, male, And some of these ex-NBA players use national TV or their own social media to do the opposite. I just say to myself, the real never lose. Salute to D Wade for being solid. That was a shot. Of course, it was a shot at Shaq. Now, this segues into the next part because Shaq's response. Shaq says to James Harden regarding that, he says, all that talk about we should be uplifting brothers and all that, I uplift my brothers by telling them the truth. I'm not a yes man. Okay, you ain't show up yet, so you got to win a championship.
No lies detected, ladies and gentlemen.
Here's the lie.
Here's the thing.
Bro.
Here's why it's starting to, and I'm gonna ask you guys. I want to hear your opinion on it before I segue into the next part.
Please.
Okay, so Donovan Mitchell has this great game this past weekend. It was the Utah Jazz. They played the Pelicans. Donovan Mitchell pretty much does Donovan Mitchell things. If you guys don't know who he is, he's a great scorer, young guy in the NBA right now. So after the game's over, Shaq's in a post-game interview. So he says to Donovan Mitchell, he says, I said tonight that you are one of my favorite players, but you don't have what it takes to get to the next level.
Man down.
Excuse me.
Man down.
But you don't have what it takes to get to the next level. I said it on purpose because I wanted you to hear it. What do you have to say about that? And I'm like, what? He just wins the game. And that's Shaq's response to him. So a lot of sports people now, especially on Twitter, they're getting after Shaq because they feel like Shaq's become some type of hater who looks down on the younger guys and has a lot to say about them and their careers, and he's never said anything uplifting. I kind of took that comment when he was talking to Donovan Mitchell as to say that he was trying to challenge him because he didn't really hide from what he said. He wanted Donovan Mitchell to hear it straight from him, you know what I'm saying, and not hear somebody else, oh, this is what Shaq said to you. I don't know, like maybe he old school and that's how he feels like he needs to motivate the players, but you know, it's becoming a big thing now where people are looking at Shaq like he a big hater. So I don't know what's going to come from this, but I'm going to watch because I find this entertaining. How y'all feel about that? You feel like Shaq being a hater? Do you feel like he's being extra? Do you think he's motivating? Like, how would you take that?
Go ahead, Sherm.
Okay, so what he said about James Harden, I have no issue with. I think James Harden definitely needs to show improve. He does keep he does keep getting to these teams and getting exactly what he wants, and he has not produced a championship yet. I think he was right about that. On the other end of that, though, I do think Shaq is, and if you are of the past generation, because basketball has hit the corner quick. Like, it is definitely a whole new generation of basketball right now. Like, it is drastically different from what you and I,
exactly.
What it's different from what we're used to seeing, and it's definitely different from what Shaq is used to seeing. Yeah. So he is a bit of a hater, but I understand where it comes from because it's hard. Like, as an old school basketball enthusiast and fan, it's hard to watch this now and not be like, damn, all of this shit is so it's built. It's built so much it is absolutely a business now. The game is built to protect the players. Nobody plays defense anymore. They don't even tell you to get a rebound. They urge you not to get rebounds. So I'm saying all that to say Shaq is becoming a bit of a hater, but it's the same hater that anybody that's 40 years and up is going to be watching this new game of basketball and watching how players maneuver from team to team. So with such rapidity and with kind of not real regard, but with only personal regard. Like it's just really different now. It's different. What you think, Stan?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if hater is the word I would use. I think I'm a person who's kind of accustomed to getting tough love, right? Like where, you know, for example, you know what I mean? So like, I mean, I'm not going to really feel sorry for anybody. I mean, yo, like a person who is a champion with multiple rings basically told you ain't doing enough. I mean, you got any rings yet? I mean, he might know what the fuck he talking about. So, I mean, there's that, you know what I'm saying? And he's a dude who was largely encouraged by some of the greatest players to ever do it. And they wasn't necessarily coddling him, you know, like, I mean, everybody knew this motherfucker was trash at the free throw line and stuff. And so, you know, like he took that criticism and, you know, and did what he could to elevate other parts of his game. And while simultaneously still trying to work on getting better at that, even though it didn't show. And so, but, you know, just kind of reflecting always when people talk about these different situations, I try to think about what my experience has been. Right. Mm-hmm. And so what I will say is this. I think number one, as a person whose dad, right? Like, now keep in mind, I went to Pratt Institute, right? One of the top art schools in the country. One of the things I wrote when I applied to Pratt, I wrote in there how one of the things my dad said to me when I was younger was one of the main sources of motivation for me. Mom told me to my face, "You can't draw, boy. You can't draw. Now your brother can draw, but you can't draw." That's I don't remember much my father said, bro, but I remember that. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. And it motivated me. You know what I mean? Because I spent a good amount of my life trying to prove him wrong. You know? And so, I mean, and then like fast forward, I got into Suitland High School, right? One of the like best schools for the visual performing arts in the area. And then I ended up getting into Pratt. Would I have gone that far had he not encouraged, or not encouraged? Let me not use encourage. Had he not said what he said the way he said it to me, like, I don't know if I would have did it. Because the same thing with my music, you know what I mean? It wasn't like everybody that like heard my music, you know, even some of our peers. It's not like everybody like loved everything I've ever made, right? Like I spent a good amount of time catching L's like from the homies, like, yeah, bro, like, yo, you need to step this up. You need to do this. Everybody know what you should do for your career. You know what I'm saying? Even though they don't work in it. And so like, I mean, this is different. He's somebody who like, yeah, the league might be different, but it's still the league is still the league. And he's gone through the fire. And he got what ultimately all of them are working for. So yeah, you might not like how it was said, and this is what we were talking about pre-show. I think a lot of times we get caught up on how people say stuff and miss the larger point that he's trying to make. And the larger point he's trying to make, what it seems like to both brothers, even though I feel like he was a lot more critical with the other person, is that you got a lot more work to do if you're serious about getting to this next level. You know what I mean? Right. And it's like, and if you're a person who hasn't reached that next level, the question I have to you is, where's the lie?
That's a good point. You know, I think it's a generational thing, man. And I don't know if these young cats are going to be ready to accept or receive it. I mean, the response that Donovan Mitchell gave was beautiful to me. He just said, all right, you know what I'm saying? And he said, you know, I've been hearing that all my whole life. So he knows that he's got stuff to prove. You know what I mean? And I'm happy that he didn't get offended by it. But I think the younger generation that follows, you know, your internet, they kind of took it to heart, like Shaq a hater and everything like that. I thought it was funny in a certain level, because I'm like, damn, he's shooting from both barrels. You know what I mean? At the same time, I knew that it was going to rub some people the wrong way, just based on the society we in.
And the question I would pose to those people, because people love to throw around the term like hater, just like certain people like to throw around the term like racist or reverse racism, or like other times where like people kind of over respond to something. Like, like not everything we see is always racist. Not everything we see is like what white folk love to call, or some white folk love to call, anti-racist, right? Or reverse racism is what I meant to say. Just like
another topic on that later on sometime.
Oh, absolutely. And then, that's important to also understand that one of the most overused terms is hater. Like, what does James Harden have that Shaq wants? other than youth, right? Other than youth and wishing you were younger again. And I'm not one of these people that sit around like, oh, I wish I was younger, so I'm just hating on young people. Dog, like, hey, man, I love being older, bro. Like, this shit is way better than when I was younger. Yeah, I might be tired and I don't get to do this, that, and the third, but, bro, I got the means to do anything I need to do in this given moment and be able to take my family with me. So, yeah, being older, this shit is pretty dope. So I ain't sitting around hating on young people like, yeah, I don't want to ask people permission for shit. I want to be able to move. So like, so I don't see your life and envy it. And I don't think that any person who literally is in the profession that Shaq has proven to be great at, and basically hit the pinnacles that he needed to hit to get where he wanted to go. I don't think it's fair to call him a hater because it's just like, like he achieved what it is you still working toward, bro. So like, if anybody would know, it would be him. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you just gotta shut up and just go ahead, take your licks, listen, and then when you get your L, you hit him up like, yeah. So you were saying, like, yo, what can I say, young blood? You did it.
Yeah, use it as motivation.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So look.
Hey, moving on to Steph Curry, who's changed the game in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Curry passed Reggie Miller for second on NBA's all-time three-point list. He currently has 2,562 and only trails Jesus. It only trails Jesus. That's Jesus Shuttlesworth, that is. Ray Allen. He only trails Ray Allen, who has 2,173, which is only 411. I think Steph he'll hit that mark. If not this season, definitely by next season, early part of the season. So shout out to Steph Curry, who's done it in a very fast time. Like, he's revolutionized the game, some good and some bad, because coaching basketball, I love it when the kids can hit that shot, but everybody's not Steph Curry, bro. And I got to tell people that you need to bang from the inside out and stop trying to pull up like you Steph Curry from the logo. So shout out to Steph for passing Reggie Miller, and on his way to passing Ray Allen, God willing. Next, Kyrie Irving, your boy Shiggity Sherm, he made his first game back with the Nets. And you know what happened?
I heard.
They lost. And
everybody scored 1,000 points and they lost.
No defense at all. I was watching the highlights like, oh, I get it. So when Kyrie's on, you know what I realized? That team is going to be struggling at the point of attack defense on the perimeter, because Kyrie Irving is not a great defender.
Neither is James Harden.
Yeah, and neither is James Harden. So I see a weakness. Cavaliers, bro. Cavaliers.
Oh,
Colin Sexton.
Come on, man.
Colin Sexton dropped 42 on him. 42.
Who is that? Who is that?
Yeah, right. He's a rookie from Alabama. He's a rookie from Alabama. You know what I mean? Dropped 42. So to follow that game up, they had a game against my Miami Heat at home. Now we're missing Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Miles Leonard, Avery Bradley. These are starters that are out. So they're literally playing against the G team. They won that game by, I think, 4 points, and Bam Adebayo dropped 41 on them. So, it's a team that really right now is not going to be the defense is going to be the thing that holds them back.
See, you know what I mean? That's the one issue I have with today's NBA is that they have replaced defense with scoring points.
Right.
And instead of so when teams have, and I've heard a lot of commentators and analysts say this, when teams are having bad shooting nights, instead of saying that these teams need to start going to the inside, they say, what do shooters do when they're having bad nights? Keep shooting. And everybody thinks they're a shooter now. So everybody just keeps on shooting. So the idea is to score 1,000 points rather than, you know what? We're not hitting tonight, so let's defend harder. Let's make them score.
Right.
And so yeah, that's the problem I have with it now, man. But you know, it is what it is.
More to come with that one. Stay tuned. So, transition, we're going to speed this last few sections up, or fast 2 points up. The NFL is now down to the top 3 because Brady's expletive just beat Green Bay at home. He didn't play well, but the defense for Green Bay is like non-existent. And they wound up winning that game. And we're waiting on the Kansas City Buffalo game to see who's going to be the representative for the Super Bowl and play Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. Right now, I think the Chiefs are up. Well, it was 9-7. I can't see the score right now. But anyway, that game's still going on. Deshaun Watson, I said I was going to touch on that. Real quick, he prefers the Jets over – it was 14-9 anyway by that game. He prefers the Jets over the Dolphins. Jets or Dolphins to go to. So I don't know why he prefers them. I'll do more investigating on that and maybe have a deeper story. Because the whole story with Houston is a long one. So I'll dig into that, along with their hiring practices for their head coach, which is crazy. We'll dig more into that next week. Finally, Conor McGregor was knocked out in the second round and joined the list of Bernie memes. Y'all see.
I was about to say he was knocked out by Bernie Sanders.
This is
looking like he is choked out by Bernie in his mitts. I love that thing. So he lost in a second round knockout by what's the guy's name? Dustin Poirier. Second round knockout. And right now, honestly, like, Conor should go ahead and try to get another boxing match so he can get a big check and then go away. He's becoming like the punching bag for the UFC, and a lot of people not really taking him that serious, but you know, it is what it is. So that's it for me. Thank you guys for again paying attention and participating.
Thank you, sir.
I always feel formal at the end. Thank you guys.
Right. Oh man, we appreciate, you know, the thorough reporting, good sir. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, we're gonna shift gears and talk about what I've been watching.
You know what it is.
With the pinky. For those of you listening and not watching, you know, Cash has his pinky raised because he has made a recent purchase. He has joined the Apple family. Yeah. And so he's feeling kind of bougie right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm drinking. It's called a French connection.
Right.
You know,
instead of bad and bougie, it's Mac and bougie. That's what we doing. Mac and bougie. Right. There we go.
Mac and bougie. Yeah.
Right.
We'll come with some lyrics for that joint.
I do it. You know what I'm saying? Live your life, be great. You know what I mean? We debut it right here on the show. You know what I mean? But yo, so look, so we're gonna jump into to movies, TV, and all of that. Real quick, I'm gonna just hit y'all with some lightning round recommendations for you to check out before we jump into our main topic, which is the movie American Skin. But yeah, definitely. Obviously, we're going to recommend that one. But first and foremost, some other stuff to check out. WandaVision episode 3 dropped. Was definitely solid. It's the story is moving along a bit quicker. So definitely, if you haven't caught up with it yet, I highly recommend that you check it out. It's only getting better. Also, another dope movie that just came out on HBO Max is called Lockdown. That's an excellent film that just came out, as well as about a couple. There we go. Wow, a couple who actually broke up right before the lockdown started, but because of the lockdown, were forced to continue living together. And their careers are both going in opposite directions. Her career is on the up and up. The brother has a criminal background, so he is limited in terms of what type of opportunities he can get. And yeah, man, it just deals with like the stresses of being in the lockdown and not being able to kind of move the way you would normally move. But on top of that, being in a relationship which is clearly toxic, and what stresses come with that. And then the story kind of takes a pretty interesting left turn and gets far. I mean, it's very entertaining. A lot of food for thought, but extremely hilarious as well. And that's on HBO Max. Again, it's called Lockdown. But on that note, I'm going to pause the recommendations just to jump into American Skin, because that movie deserves our time, gentlemen. And so let's jump into that. I'm going to go ahead and cue something up real quick. And but yeah, man. So for those of you who are not familiar with haven't heard of American Skin, it's actually a movie that that was basically it came out actually or like when you look it up on IMDb, it actually is listed as 2019. So that's how long this movie has actually been circulating amongst kind of the the film audience and all of that. And so it's about a Marine veteran working as a school janitor who tries to mend his relationship with his son after a divorce, when his son is killed by a police officer who is later found innocent without standing trial. And so he decides to take matters into his own hands. So we typically don't do spoiler warnings on Three the Odd Way. But yeah, I mean, I'll be nice today and say spoiler warning. But like I will say, going forward, people, if you click on this joint and you see that a certain name of a movie is in the subject, we are talking about the damn movie. So we're talking about the damn movie. So you got your spoiler warning. Get your hurt feelings and walk it off. Go somewhere else, because we about to jump into it. So we know that Cash hasn't seen it, but
I can put that shit on right after we finish and be just
do
fine.
that. Listen, I was so determined to make sure that we saw it over here. Like I know I got like at least 2 or 3 different ways to watch movies without paying for it, but like when it's certain quality things. Yeah, when it's certain quality joints and it's certain artists or whatever, and Nate Parker is one of those artists, I make sure to spend the money because he makes quality films. So for those of you who don't know who Nate Parker is a very talented actor who also made his directorial debut with the movie Birth of a Nation, which was about Nat Turner. If you do not know who Nat Turner is, you need to look Nat Turner up. But he is known for basically an uprising that he led in Virginia that resulted in the death of many slave masters, their families, including women and children. And he did all of that to free his people. He was also a pastor. In fact, if you go to a reverend, you can go to the African American Museum if it was open to the public and actually see his Bible. They actually have Nat Turner's Bible there. But yeah, so that was his first film that he made, his directorial debut. But his new film, American Skin, similar to his old film, deals with a very familiar subject when it comes to like Black history here in the United States. His first film dealt with slavery. This new film deals with police brutality. So Sherm and I had a conversation and ahead of the show where I basically said that some of the fatigue that people have about slavery films, like I actually have some of that fatigue when it comes to watching films that deal with police brutality, mainly because, I've experienced like harassment at the hands of police. Personally, we've watched God knows how many of these videos, and we've seen plenty of movies that depict it as well. But this movie here, as tired as I might be of that subject, this movie is very refreshing, extremely engaging. There's some amazing dialogue that happens in this film. The acting is great. Shout out to Amari Hardwick as well, who's in the film. For those of you who are Power fans, he plays a really, really dope character in the movie, who's a family friend who's like a blood relative, kind of like my brothers who I'm sitting with now. And his story is in itself is, even though it's brief and they don't really dive super deep into it, but just his presence in his boy's life and being there to support him regardless of what he does was really, really dope to see. Because I felt like if any of y'all were in that situation, that would be me or that would be y'all in reverse. However, you know what I mean? Like I Definitely felt that. Yeah, man. So yeah, dude, like Sherm, I mean, clearly I could talk about it forever, but I know that you've seen the film. Definitely share your feedback. What are some of the highlights? What would you, what would you tell people to look for, and what did you appreciate about the film?
So first of all, I cried several times watching this movie. It is a very heartfelt story. It's really important. Like Stan said, it's nothing new to any Black American, but it's still the perspective that he took in telling the story. Like, I mean, it is the perspective itself is mind blowing. The story, like I said, is typical to Black Americans, but it is so important. Like, he caught everyone's perspective. Like the thing that I found most important, which I feel is not focused on enough in African American culture, is the suburban African American. The way that he deals with that, I think, is really important. Like when the kid, I forgot the kid's name, but what's the main interviewer's name? Do you recall?
I'll look it up while you're talking, but keep going and I'll let you know.
When he gets the chance to explain his perspective from being from the suburbs, like that shit stopped me in my tracks, because I'm from the burbs, and nobody really ever asks the perspective of the African American struggle from the suburban perspective, because most people feel like if you're from the burbs, you made it out.
Yeah,
like, nah, that's not true at all. That's what we thought, and that's what we were taught. But in being awakened and becoming conscious to what was really going on, they were actually trying to strip us of our Blackness and get us to feel the privilege and the privilege of being in white suburban America. So the fact that they address that in that movie is so important, because no one ever talks to the suburban kid about what the fuck he's going through in trying to understand what it is like to be Black in this America. That is one of the most, aside from the main focus of the film, that is, it to me, was one of the most important points in that movie.
Yeah, definitely, man. It was like I said, there's a lot of fresh perspective. I love the I love how they challenge the whole concept that because someone is criminal or has a criminal background, like their perspective doesn't hold as much weight. And I love how he forced people, like force these police officers to actually to sit with that and allow them, to ultimately be judged by some of the people who they oftentimes imprison, because a lot of
their
times,
peers.
Yeah, exactly.
They're real peers, not the quote unquote peers.
Yeah, for sure. Because just because someone has committed a crime, they don't stop being human. You know what I mean? Their opinion all of a sudden doesn't like this kind of disappear and not hold any weight. Like they're still very much a part of this world. And, I think oftentimes, we like when we're into that, when we have been put in that system, our humanity oftentimes is stripped away. And so I love how they humanize those characters in the movie. The whole dialogue that happens in the police station. There are a lot of surprises. I'm not going to necessarily spoil every surprise for our listeners and our viewers, but it's, I can't stress it enough. Like, it's extremely well written. There's just so many gems in the movie. The acting is tremendous in it, from the young people in it, to some of the veteran actors that's in it. Yeah, man, definitely. Some of like one of the actors that's in it that I think a lot of folks might recognize. Theo Rossi is in it. He plays a police officer in the film. He's also known for his role as Shades on Luke Cage. And he also, I forget his character's name on the show, but he was one of the characters in Sons of Anarchy as well. Yeah. But he's also in the film. And yeah, man, definitely. I also love what they say about how, whenever a young person is killed and how the police try to go to the mom's house and speak with her and try to get her to help keep the peace.
My man said that shit is diabolical.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And, I mean, that's one of the powerful parts about one of the many powerful parts about the film is how, like, the conversation that's had about how come the expectation whenever we are met with violence and our lives are taken by violence, how come we're always expected to be peaceful in response to the violence done to us?
Can I quote it?
Do the direct quote.
We're expected to take it on the cheek, take it on the other cheek, and then walk it off.
Yes. Yo. Yes. Yeah.
The only people.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, we cheer on other nations who fight to liberate themselves from the same type of oppression. You know what I mean? But here at home or whatever, like we don't even do that for our own. Speaking of our own, I love the whole veteran part of it too. Like, people always talk about supporting police officers and people love to say I support our troops and claim to be patriots and things like that. But how many different times have we seen, now granted, in this case, it was the son of someone who was a veteran, but how many times have we seen actual veterans fall victim to this type of stuff? And how many times have we seen veterans in this country become radicalized because ultimately, the country falls short in terms of the supports that are offered to these people when they come back home. You know what I mean? So like, it just deals with so much, man. There's so much great content in the film. Again, salute to Nate Parker. Also salute the Spike Lee who saw the film at a film festival and decided to back the film and help it get more more exposure and get out there a bit further. So salute to Spike Lee, of course, as well. But yeah, man. Any closing thoughts on that, Sherm? Because it's your time, brother. You know what I mean?
I wanna give my favorite quote from that one. My other favorite quote from that movie, other than the take it on the cheek, take it on the other cheek. Mm-hmm. And you kind of made reference to this a second ago. Great nations aren't great because they oppress, but because they liberate, and they don't kill, they heal. Like, dog, that right there, like if you dissect that quote in itself, like we got to wake up in this country, man. Like this, we're not living where we thought we lived, and we got to wake up, man.
I was going to say, I think the people who put us in this position to begin with are very much awake. You know what I mean? And I think, but the people who, I mean, there are absolutely people who are just kind of, walking along, like living their daily life and not fully aware of what's going on. But I'm also aware of the fact that plenty of those people who we think aren't aware, they actually know, but they don't want to deal with the uncomfortableness of the truth. You know what I mean? So it's much easier for them to pretend like they're asleep as opposed to like acknowledge the fact that they know what's happening. But, they also know that means that they got to sacrifice some of the privileges they have in order to
what it is.
push things forward. And they're not willing to do that. No. You know what I mean? So
it's never a problem until it's their problem. So plenty of times we get in situations as a community, and this is a way deeper conversation, to be honest with you. So many times we get into issues in our community, and the same advocates that we thought would be there aren't there. However, when they can find a cause that we may also subscribe to, they expect us to show out in numbers as well. So to me, it's always like, they isolate problems, whether we want to believe it or not. They feel like some things are black problems and some things are white problems. You know what I mean? And they treat those problems according to the nature of the skin. Case in point, there's a Netflix series called Crack.
Yes.
Talks about how crack was infiltrated into our communities or whatever, and how it was treated. But then you fast forward into the year 2020 or a little bit less than that, and you see how the response for the opioid epidemic is totally different. You know what I mean? Because opioids affect a different demographic than crack does. So
absolutely.
You know, it's never a problem until it crosses demographics. I've always said that. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. And, you know, that in itself, you know, is an example of what privilege looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so on that note, let's pass it to my man, Sugar D Sherm, with our music updates. You know what I mean?
Moving on to the bullshit. We've got Bow Wow, aka Shad Moss, to kick it off. We're going to change the whole. We're going to lighten the mood a little bit and get into the fuckery. So, man, Bow Wow last week decided to and please understand that entering into the story, your man Bow Wow got AI at the bowling alley. Like, he got straight AI at the bowling alley. So. But hey, you put yourself out there, this is what you're going to get. So Bow Wow decides to attend a party in Houston, Texas, where they are wide the fuck open and have been such for a while during this pandemic. Houston, Texas, you and Atlanta, Georgia are amazing. And I don't mean that in a good way. So he attends this party, and that shit is packed to the motherfucking ass crack. I mean, it's wall to wall. Niggas everywhere. It's for a friend of his 30th birthday party, and he decided, or they ask him to perform a song. He performs a song, so of course he's the one that makes the shit go, I guess, quote unquote viral. I don't know if it really went viral, but he's the one that blew the shit up because it wasn't his party. He didn't promote the shit. It was somebody else's party, but of course, because he performed, it made it bigger. Nobody had masks on. Like I said before, we're in the pandemic, and this Bama, I mean, they put him on some of the meanest wheels to roll him under the bus. I don't even know the girl's name that the party was for, but all you know is that Shad Moss is all over this shit. In my opinion, I don't think this is too far outside of what Shad Moss, aka Bow Wow, enjoys.
So his whole government,
Bow Wow, like fucking kids about to do no more. Like, I'm mad he's still making.
No, but it's not Lil. He took the Lil away, so he's big boy now. It's actually, yeah, he's a big boy now because there's no more Lil.
Just Bow Wow.
I mean, Bow Wow. I mean, fuck him. Like, I
mean, hey, I'm always going to have a space for Bow Wow, dog, because the dude has been a celebrity since he was 5. Hey, man, he's one of us. He's one of our people. I got to commend him for being able to.
No. He's one of the ones that you cast out like Dave Chappelle did.
No.
Hell yes, he is, dog. Like, we don't want him.
Why not? What's wrong with Bow Wow? He's doing what you have to do to be a celebrity. No, that's what you got to do.
No, he thought he was a celebrity.
Then he started doing on foot.
Nah, bro. He started doing goofy. He wants some goofy shit. When he did that thing where he was acting like he was covered up and people didn't recognize. Nobody gives a fuck who you are, man. Like,
yes, yes, someone does.
Who
knows? We're not
all them people up in the party with no mask.
Oh,
you have to know when people are laughing with you and when people are laughing at you.
Bruh. Bow Wow has a following. You can deny it all you want, dog. But remember, When Bow Wow was like 14 years old, dog, Bow Wow could have took your girl at 14 years old. Let's cut it out. Like Bow Wow is doing what he's been a celebrity since he was 5 years old. And what he understands is that in order to be a celebrity, you have to keep doing shit to get noticed. So he keeps doing shit, whether it be super cool or whether it be some fuck shit. He does shit to make you say his name. And that is the point of being a celebrity. Any publicity is good publicity. I don't give a fuck about none of the shit he's doing, but it's fun. It's something to talk about. It's something to laugh about. So I'm here for it. Him going to this party, I wouldn't have gone to the party. Everybody that was in the party is kind of dumb. They're fucking idiots. But they were there for the 30-year-old, for whoever party it was, and to see fucking Bow Wow. So apparently somebody likes Bow Wow. I'm here for all of Bow Wow's fuckery because it is fucking entertaining. He is definitely one of my people.
We laugh at clowns and we laugh at Bow Wow. Ain't no difference.
Man, dog.
Ain't no difference.
It takes a lot to have your name still be.
Nah.
It does. It's nothing. Like it's stupid. It's stupid to us, but Bow Wow is not 42.
He getting clowned all over. You see him on Twitter. You see what he said with the
bro. How you getting clowned? You got a club full of people.
That ain't
how
okay.
You getting clowned when you got a club full of people? Granted, they weren't necessarily there for him, but they knew he was going to be there.
Exactly. They weren't there for him. Like,
bruh.
Nobody's rushing to go see him, dog. Like,
yes, someone is.
No, absolutely fucking not. No.
He wouldn't still be doing shows if no one was going to see him.
Dog, okay.
But moving on, because we're not about to do my whole segment on Bow Wow. So moving on.
I'm just saying.
What we're here for. My two music highlights of the week are, we got Th1rt3en. I'm gonna start off with Th1rt3en, and then I'm gonna get into Th1rt3en. Th1rt3en has a series called oh my god, it's a Tribe Called Quest reference.
Lyrics to Go. Jesus Christ.
Come on, he has a series called Lyrics to Go where
you better represent with that.
Oh, he's nice.
Huh?
Nah, he was saying he better represent with that, and I was like, "Oh no, he's nice."
Oh no, Th1rt always represents.
I know that.
So he has a series called Lyrics to Go that he's been doing for years, and it has yet to disappoint. These real quick songs. I don't know how many verses it is, because I'm not that technical. I'm not a rapper. I did not count the verses, but I listen to it and I enjoy it. Th1rt is typical Th1rt fashion. He is the most regular motherfucker on earth, but he is like if everybody on earth could rap, like if everybody on earth could be a dope rapper. That's how easy he makes this shit look. Like,
I'm gonna need you to explain that. What do you mean?
Huh?
I'm gonna need you to explain that. What you mean?
So
if everybody on earth can rap, like what is he? You talking about content? You talking about
no. His approach to the way he delivers his lyrics is so nonchalant. It just feels like anyone could do it. It's nonchalant, but it's so fucking technical. Like this nigga is nasty. I love him.
He's super dope.
He's one of my favorite young artists next to Saba. Like this dude, he makes lo-fi. Like he turns lo-fi into some amazing shit. Like this nigga is so ill. He addresses everything. Like he pays so much homage to the places that he's been and where he comes from. Like the dude is just dope, man. I kind of lost my train of thought, but he's from Brooklyn, but he does not give off that typical Brooklyn feel. He is like, man. Check his project out. Definitely check out everything from Th1rt. He will not disappoint. He is that he can take you from cleaning up your house on a Saturday morning to needing some shit to get you. Well, no, he might not motivate you to go to the club, but his shit knocks like that. But his lyrics might make you go the fuck back home when you're on your way to the club. because he don't really give a fuck about shit like that. So yeah.
He has really good like his his introspective songs are really dope too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
His approach to blackness I really love, because he puts it in a way that it's so, and I'm not saying that this is a good or a bad thing. It's a coda thing. It's so non-abrasive, but it's still so pertinent in everything that in all of his music. Like, oh my God, I love coda.
He makes the authentic. He takes an authentic black experience and makes it very accessible. You know what I mean? And it's very palatable to virtually almost like, anyone. Not necessarily if you come in for like that turn up or whatever, the joint to get you like super hype or whatever. But if you appreciate like soulful like lyrics and like music or whatever, something that almost feels like an older era, but is a bit more progressive. Like, yo, he's a great artist for you. I definitely stand for him as well.
So no features on that album, and it's 10 albums strong for only 15 minutes though.
That's all you need. It's a mixtape. It's basically a mixtape.
It's like kind of like one-off verses and stuff.
And how old is this cat? Because he looked mad young when I just looked.
He's young as shit. Yeah, he's young. I don't know how old he is.
Yeah, I think he is mid-20s.
Okay, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and his last record actually charted too, man. Like, his last album that he put out was actually on Billboard. You know what I mean? So so shout out to him for doing it on his own terms and making quality music. Indeed. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Yeah. Check out everything Coda the Friend. Everything.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna check it out too. But you better not talk about Bow Wow being relevant ever.
Keep it moving, Sherm. Don't entertain. Sherm.
Next we got 13. A long awaited project from one of my favorite artists, Pharoah Monch. I heard first of this group. It's actually a group. It's not just Pharoah, but I first heard of this group about a year ago. A single came out called Palindrome. Fire ass single. Everything that Pharoah puts out is fucking fire. But this is Pharoah Monch. This is Daru Jones. And this is Marcus Machado. I don't know much about Marcus Machado, but Daru Jones is one of the illest drummers I've ever heard.
He's dirty.
If you want to hear one of his greatest performances, to me, was, I don't know how much he did on this, but I feel like he did all of the album with Black Milk, the 360, the album of the year 365.
Oh yeah, that
he is, to me, the reason why that album is so fucking fire. Like the dude is like, he's like Black Thought in a drum set. Like, he's nasty. He finds these awkward fucking pockets. Like the way, if you see him on it, first of all, his drum set looks ridiculous. You got drums leaning over backwards. Like, he is insane. And when you see him drum, it does not look like he knows what he's doing, but it is because he feels every different drum that he has in his set, and every drum does something different. Daru Jones is amazing. So I would compare this project. It's called 13, a good day for an exorcism. And what it is an exorcism of America. That is absolutely what it is. It is an American atonement. It goes through everything that's going on right now, from police brutality to racial inequality. I mean, it spans everything. It's a long album. I don't know how many tracks it is total, but it's definitely a long album. But you will not be bored. What I would compare this to, I would definitely compare this to Madlib and MF Doom's Mad Villainy. It is dark. It's dark as fuck, man. Like, it is definitely going to put you in a place. I do not have I don't remember the name of the track, but there is a standout track, but it is only a standout track because it is the most different sounding track on the album. Oh, no, I do remember. It's called Amnesia. and it takes you completely out. It's crazy how this song just drops into the project, and as easily as it drops in, there's no transition out of it. You're just gone out of that space. But that is the only song that changes the tempo. It feels light. It's kind of eerie because it gives a light feel to Amnesia. So you got to hear that. It's crazy. But the whole project is a standout track. Like, you got to listen to it all the way through. Oh my God. It is so, like, it's gory. It's classic Pharoah. If you remember songs like Hate from Internal Affairs, and if you remember Equinox from Equinox and Black Sunday from Organized Confusion, like, it's classic Pharoah. Like, he has this way of like personifying these really fucked up emotions and situations and really making you feel how fucked up they are. He's got, like, oh my God, you've got to check it out. I would recommend listening to it in the dark.
Say, listen to what?
Listening to it in the dark. It is a dark album, dog.
Man,
like,
make love to the damn album. What the fuck?
no, man.
In the dark. That's on some whole nother level.
You watch scary movies in the dark, man. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, but you talking about making love to a track in the dark.
Turn off the lights.
You know what I'm saying?
Let a candle.
I'm gonna sit my drink on this one.
Nah, man. No.
But
yeah, I've heard 2 tracks from it so far. I mean, it's sick. I actually saw because I think he's been performing with them live for a while now, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like when we did because there was a show at the Kennedy Center where I performed with Kokai, and De La Soul was like the main. They were top billing that night, and Pharoah as well. And that was the first time I heard him talking about Th1rt3en. And yeah, because he had the band with him. And yeah, they were in there. It was just body bags, dog.
Bro, and you know how Pharoah is, man. He put some shit in the oven, and he put shit in the crock pot, and it's gonna stay in there for the whole day. So when I heard about Th1rt3en, I'm like, oh shit, Pharoah putting some shit in the atmosphere that you're gonna be anticipating for the next 3 fucking years. And of course, he did. But the way he explained the process, I really respect it, because he's like, he be on his boutique shit. So when he puts out a project, he wants it to feel like a one-off. He doesn't want it to be able to be compared to anything. So he lives with it for as long as he needs to live with it, for it to feel like nothing you've ever heard. And nothing you've ever heard from Organized Confusion or Pharoah Monch is like anything you hear from him the project before, and I fuck with him for that. I hate it on one side of it because he takes so long.
That's a fact.
But I love it on the other end, because when you get a project from him, it's going to be, like he said, it's going to be on some boutique shit. It's going to be them Jordans laced with fur and silk with the motherfucking python print across the toe. So I love that shit. Like, this project is so. Dog, I listened to this project after I watched American Skin. Oh my dude, I've been on one.
Right.
I've been on one. Give me a 45 and a long range rifle and put me on top of a building somewhere in West. No, never mind. I'm sorry.
Right. It was like
all of that.
It's saying too much.
None of that.
Right. Real woman right now. Yo, so I was going to change up real quick and just say, well, first I was going to say, the few tracks that I've heard from it so far are crazy. Like, I mean, as to be expected with Pharoah in terms of the caliber of MC that he is. I mean, he does not disappoint, and the production is amazing from the few tracks that I've heard. I do have a question for all of y'all. Favorite Pharoah Monch song, and go.
Why you do that?
Because I can do it.
I think right now, what comes to my mind is Behind Closed Doors. That's the first song that comes to mind for me, because the way he jumped and danced all over that fucking crazy ass track, man.
Yeah, that's a heater. How about you, Cash?
It's hard to top that. Behind closed doors. I don't know. That's a good question. Why you put me on the spot like that? Like
because this is what the show is for.
Straight Bullet.
A lot of
Straight Bullet's a great one. Yeah, that's an organized confusion joint.
I'm coming for you, little girl.
Little girl.
I shatter your
world.
Woo.
Yeah, that's from
We listen to a lot of Pharaoh coming up. That's hard to say one.
I'll make it easier for you. A verse. Favorite Pharoah Monch verse. There you go.
Nigga.
That made it easier. You're right. That made it harder.
I mean, look, I can give you both real quick. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. You know what I'm saying? Favorite Pharoah Monch verse was from Bring It On. That was the one that kind of made me a fan for life. God. Mine chop. I even be getting more graphic than the Neo Chio 32-bit computer. These words between my lips and then I spit it out. Yeah, that joint's crazy. That whole verse is disgusting.
But you can't. Go ahead. Keep going.
That's why I stopped. You kept going, but I knew where it was going. So
I
paused myself before y'all had to pause me. So that verse is probably one of my favorite. That's the verse. It's not, put it this way, it's not necessarily my introduction to him. My introduction was Stress, right? Like that was the first time I heard him. He destroys that. You would now consider me the apocalyptic one. After this rhyme, henceforth, there is none. No more will exist when I emerge from the mist in which I was born into. Scorn. Most of you can't even comprehend what I am saying to you, even in my human form, the message I'm relaying. That dude was crazy. And like, yeah, so.
He's one of the greatest.
Yes, but my favorite Pharoah song, which is not a song that people talk about a lot, is the joint Shine with Melomachenko. That joint, in my heart, in my mind. That joint where she's like blacking out on the joint because his verses on that joint and where I come from, where he does a little thing where I come from, there's some conundrums and like. Dog, like he's talking over most of that track, and that beat is bonkers, like really, really ape shit. And then like he just has a few moments where he just jumps in the pocket of the beat just to let you know, like, yo, I'm off beat for most of this song. But then he just hops in the pocket real quick. Oh, wait a minute, in case you were worried. And he just nails it, and then he gets back on his.
Hey, bro, he does that shit on Good Day for an Exorcism on this one joint where he just rides his pocket on his fast flow shit. Like, I love when Pharoah does that. It's like, yeah, I play this awkward shit because that's my character. But if I can body anybody's fucking industry beat that I wanted, I just choose not to. And for anybody that doesn't know, the dude had several opportunities to break mainstream.
Oh yeah, he said no to Dr. Dre.
Right, but he
said no to Dr. Dre.
He made a conscious decision to stay in the lane so he could stay consistent with what he was. Yo, Pharoah is.
Look, let's go ahead and let's quote him. Slave to what was he say? Slave to a label, but I own my masters. Dog, Pharoah Monch quote. He said, "Yo, he said without artists and repertoire, because Pharoah is a monarch minus the A&R. Because Monch is a monarch. There you go. Because Monch is a monarch minus the A&R. Dog, come on, man. Let's 21 gun salute to this.
One of the greatest, man.
One of the greatest, man. Greatest. Undisputed would definitely
with candles, or I mean,
what'd you say?
Should I listen with candles, or he said turn the lights off?
I mean, it's like, you could, but with this record, it sounds like if you doing candles with this joint, it's in the shape of a pentagram,
it's definitely in the shape of a pentagram, right? Like this shit,
like real dark. You conjuring.
It's not just a dark album. Like it's really socially conscious. It's really politically conscious. Like it's a really important album for current times, man. Like it came out at the perfect time. We just ejected a fucking piece of shit devil from like it. Oh my god, yeah. Listen to it.
We'll do.
Good day for an exorcism. You will
check.
not be disappointed.
Yeah, man. Nah, definitely gonna finish listening to it, man. But dude, so much, man. So much. We covered a lot this week, gentlemen. And
so I'm not gonna get into my video. So yeah,
yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
You did want to,
we 15 minutes over time, man. I mean, I could list them real quick, but
just list them joints. Hit them with the recommendations.
All right, so we got Pharoah Monch. Pharoah Monch has an NPR performance for a few songs off of 13. It's super dope from I guess his home. Joey Badass is back with a song called shit. I don't remember what Joey Badass song is called right now, but his song is super dope. He's got a visual for that, and Code of the Friend has a few visuals from his series as well. So yeah,
dope sauce. We'll check them all out, man. Yeah, man. Appreciate the recommendations. Gentlemen, as always, man, always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody for listening or watching. Couple of quick announcements before we go, just to give y'all a heads up. Next week, our next episode 5, will be live. Oh, I just realized that 5 will be live with 5. Yes. So episode 5 will be live on YouTube. It will be on a Sunday night, like to kind of throw back to the Substantial Sunday days. So yes, make sure you tune in for that. And you won't have to wait as long. You won't have to wait 7 days. You can wait 6 days and join us live. All right. So that will be on January 31st. And to all of you who've been watching the video and you stuck around this long, you might as well hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening, make sure you follow the podcast and share it. A lot of big announcements during the live show. We should be mentioning who our first guest on the show will be the following week after the live show. And hopefully, if all goes well, maybe Patreon be ready to go too. So, we'll keep y'all posted. Lots of great things in the pipeline. Fellas, as always, man, always a pleasure. Love y'all like cook food on a Sunday, even though it's Monday.
Too, man.
Yeah, when they see it, it's going to be Monday. So, but shout out to everybody in the chat. All our OG supporters, man. Y'all are the best. We definitely appreciate the support and the encouragement. So on that note, gentlemen, we out, son.
Peace.
Where the pinky, Cash?
Huh?
Where the pinky, Cash?
Right
Slack it. You know what I'm saying? Mac and Bougie. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one, man. Peace.
Peace.